Da-dum.
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 Dum.
Da-dum. That one I like to picture that we were unique frogs.
Oh.
Yeah, stepping away
Like,
from the musical instruments for this chapter. We were unique frogs just kind of chatting with each other. You were kind of like a bigger...
what is a frog in nature but musical instruments, you know?
Oh, we brought it back. We tie it together because that's what we do here. That's what we do here at the Grand Line Tourist. We bring things back. We overanalyze and we bring things back. But really, the point of our podcast is this spiel I'm about to say. We are the Grand Line Tourist, chapter by chapter, examining or re-examining, if you're closer to my end of things, of Ichiro Oda's One Piece manga. We today are talking about chapter 26, Captain Kuro's Plan. But before we get there, I'm sure Jacob has some things that he wants to add. Right.
Yes, I do. We have this is our section that is ever expanding to take over our entire podcast, the letters at port section.
Yeah.
I just got to share. I introduced the idea. Speaking of bringing things back, this chapter. I just got to share a few things that a very very dear listener to my heart, my mom, she had some things to mention, and I'm going to start off with Eric. What would have you met any other Erics in your life?
Yeah, I've met a few.
Oh yeah, and like when you hear the word Eric, do you get a stereotypical image of an Eric in your head? Like there's like a true Eric, like Erics are supposed to look like this.
No.
Or maybe you picture yourself because you are an Eric, right?
I am an Eric.
If someone says Eric, you're like if someone says Jacob, I guess I just picture myself. But I have to share that for some reason, I think I'm going to fathom a guess, and it's going to be the word Leif Erikson. I think my mom always pictured Erics as being Norwegian. And then when she pictured Norwegian, I think she always got a little bit of like this Viking vibe, right?
Okay.
She was reading through the One Piece volumes, and she read a little story about how Ichiro Oda was inspired by Vikings. She finally made an actual legitimate connection between my friend Eric, you, and Vikings and Norwegian territory, which she, for a long time, always envisioned you as. And then I had to tell her, like, no, that's not what Eric looks like.
She's met me.
He's not some big... No, I know.
Oh.
She would always tell me that, like, initially, before having ever seen you, she pictured you as, like, some, Viking Norwegian guy. And so now she kind of has an excuse about why that makes sense because of our podcast. So a very strange letter from port today, but I had to share. Very strange one.
Tell your mom thank you. I do resemble a very, typical representation of manliness. I think that's where the art that she's getting. That's
exactly.
I have been told that before in my past that I do represent a lot of the traits of a very manly person. I can't hold that back. It's just some things that you're born with. You can't teach it. You can't teach it.
No. So, before I derail us anymore, why don't you go ahead and deliver the itinerary today, Eric?
I will. So, on today's itinerary, murder was the wrong word. What they meant to say was accident. That's really what Django and Kuro and Claudor were talking about. So they're like, we don't really, we eventually we will kill Kaya, but not murder. It has to be an accident. It has to be this long-winded scale of a thing that apparently Claudor has been working on for 3 years. And this is because Claudor, gasp, is not his real name. He's actually a very famous pirate captain named Captain Kuro, who was known to be very, I guess, the tactical in the way that he raided villages. He's like a chess player. He's a mastermind, right? Like he sets things up. Right.
Yeah, some might even say a method actor.
For sure a method actor. He's cold in that sense where his whole plan, he explained this to us, was that his whole plan is to put in the years into this family and then eventually use his old pirate crew to murder them in cold blood. But at the same time, because of his years of service, will inherit the money, that this rich family has, and nobody would argue because they're like, well, he was the butler for 3 years. So he has to be the logical.
Obviously, he's like, there's nobody else. The parents are gone. We got the butler.
Yeah.
Who else was Kaya going to give it to?
I mean, the ram butler, but maybe the sheep ram butler isn't as nice as this guy.
Maybe the sheep. I'm thinking the sheep ram butler's got like a nefarious secondary plan that's going to step in all of a sudden.
Right. So this is the plan. That's the plan. But now, he's just saying like that's what that's going to happen, and he needs. Why is there a hypnotist in this crew? Because lo and behold, he needs to hypnotize Kaya into writing a will, leaving all the money to Captain Kuro. Which, again...
There we go.
He probably could have just done from the beginning, if we're just being really honest. The 3 years seems a little excessive, but...
Wait. How could he have done it from the beginning?
If you're going to hypnotize the girl anyways, why not just hypnotize her now?
Okay, you're right. They didn't have to wait for the hypnotist to the very end. They could have... Hypnotist wrote the will. He still needed to put in the years of service, though, because he was saying he's worried about appearing legit, is what he wanted to do.
Yeah, essentially, he's coming up with his... What do you call this? Like a pirate retirement plan? Like, this is his pirate retirement.
A pirate retirement.
Yeah, pirate retirement. Yes, because he's, like, in the mindset of... Which is very clever. Like, what's the point of stealing it if you're just going to be running away from the Navy and never enjoying the wealth?
Yeah.
I guess... That's true, you cold man. Regardless, you're still murdering people. So that's what it is.
You don't want little Kobe's chasing you around all day.
Exactly. In the span of this, Luffy pops up, and Luffy is like, you guys can't do what you're planning to do. And what they do is they go ahead and they hypnotize Luffy, which puts him to sleep, and he falls off a cliff, lands on his head. Captain Kuro...
Rid Somar style.
Right, yes. And then and Django both think, well, this kid's dead. He fell on his face. That's it. End of story. But they actually don't really give an F about Usopp at all, because this is the cold, like, reality of Usopp's life coming back at him. Because Captain Kuro's like, this guy, no one's going to believe this guy regardless. Like, let him go. Right? Like, go tell people.
He's the child full of stories.
Right?
What's he going to do?
He's the boy who cried pirate, which is a callback to what I said in the beginning of this arc. I want people to remember that.
Yes.
But yeah, which is that, I mean, obviously this is what the story is. Is that fable too, right? This is a callback to that fable specifically. And Captain Cole's essentially going like, go tell people then. Like, nothing's going to happen because no one believes you. And that's what he does. He runs and he tries to warn people, and everybody in the village treats it like they did in the beginning of this arc to be in the morning, because he just did this morning, which is lie about pirates. But now this poor Usopp is like, he's dying a little bit because he really is trying to get people to listen to him. But he
wants to save them. He's worried about their well-being. He is. In a kind of touching moment, he does mention that like he really cares about this village and the people of it.
Right, and I make sure I have a thought about that after I finish the itinerary.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, the end of this chapter ends with a really fun. If you're reading the volumes, it's like the end of like literally the end of the volume of volume 3, I think. And it's like a cliffhanger. Like, well, what happens next? We don't know. It ends ambiguously.
Gotta wait.
You gotta wait.
To be continued in volume 4.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how it ends, with the village not believing Usopp, and Usopp really the only person who knows. I mean, Usopp and a sleeping Luffy. Like, we know he's asleep. We even see a panel of him snoring, so we know.
To be honest, I think in general, I haven't been worried about Luffy and his well-being for a while.
Yeah, it's just he's kind of like he's that what's that word? What's that word? A MacGuffin. He's like, yeah, right? Like, he's the MacGuffin. You just need to put the MacGuffin to sleep, or remove the MacGuffin for a section of the story until he comes back in to fix everything, or Ex Machina, right? Like one of those things.
When they revealed at the end, we saw the Captain. Oh, what's it?
Kuro?
Claudor.
Kuro, yeah.
Captain Kuro, we see all his crewmates, right? Which he calls sea wolves, which I particularly liked in reference to the boy who cried sea wolf. I don't know if it was intentionally we really got all the elements of the boy who cried wolf here. We have the wolves coming, and they're not gonna believe him.
Yeah, I also love, like, this was one of those where the logic of the arc is like, he's stretching us, right? Like, he's stretching us a bit to the sense of like, yeah, this plan's elaborate. It's very elaborate. It's very complex. Even Django is calling out his captain on it, like, bro, this is a lot. Like, you asked us to do.
Whoa! Wait, I like the plan. I was on board. I didn't feel stretched. No. Okay. The reason, like, they're doing a good. He's doing a good job because, his cover story, right, was that spread the word that I've been killed by the Navy, right? That the Navy got Captain Kuro, and I like that cover story especially because that's kind of what he realized was always going to happen to him. He was always going to have to worry about being killed by the Navy if he wanted to carry on with his treasure. Yeah. So I think having to do a little bit of an elaborate ploy to quote-unquote go legit, and then it just seems like what we've learned about this character being this exacting presence, right? It feels like, he's not just going to like try to go legit, like he's going to method act go legit, He's going to, I think the only thing that I maybe felt a little stretched about was that his pirates would actually return in 3 years. Yeah. Like, those are some dedicated pirates. Like, I felt like they were always on board to let him be captain because he had good payouts, right? Mm-hmm. And so the only thing I can think of is if they've done a few slightly longer gigs in the past, like maybe he took them on a couple 6-month payout gigs, and it worked, right? And they're all rich, right? So they're like, okay, it works. We'll give you 1 3-year plan, Captain Kuro, and it better work, okay? We because at the end they were saying like they were getting just waiting off on the ship for about a week. They were they were getting a little antsy. But
the one interesting thing I wanted to chat about too is like he mentioned something about how he doesn't want to pirate anymore, and then Django's response is like, well, you murdered her parents, and then he said he brings up like that
it was an accident.
Yeah, so that now
I don't know what happened. I'm confused. Like I don't think we know.
As your tour guide, I don't remember. So I'm like, that one small snippet. I'm like, I'm interested again. What happened? Like,
So like, because to be honest, how could his plan have worked if they were still alive? What was his plan before that point? His plan could have been to sort of like take the parents, and if the parents were still alive, they just wouldn't be able to inherit anything.
Yeah, well, maybe his initial plan in the beginning was always to kind of like, maybe that's what it was. Like he didn't plan on he was still going to do the same plan just with the parents, right?
Yeah, but if the parents died, it's going to go to Kaya, right? It's not going to go to the butler. Oh, he's going to hypnotize the parents to say give it to the butler.
Right. Or he would have just murdered all 3 of them at once.
Right? No, you're right. Well, so which makes his makes the talk of it being an accident not really very heartfelt because he was planning on murdering them later, if that was the case, right?
Yeah, or who knows? Maybe what if this is me really speculating because I honestly. Ooh. Folks, as your tour guide, I do not remember. What if he legitimately just wanted to be a butler and was just going to work really hard and one day just live in their wealth?
Oh, okay. You know what? This is you may speculate, but I put on the tinfoil hat for my tinfoil time. I definitely had it written down here. I was curious that, I kind of thought we might be getting at some point that Klahadore had this plan and then he actually, he fell in love with it. He fell in love with the life. Like maybe taking care of Kaya actually became something. Yeah, he got in too deep. And I think now like the pirates are back and he's like, well, I guess I got to go through with the plan, right? We got to do this. But I think we're going to have some moment of uncertainty from Captain Kuro when he's going through this. We'll see. He still seems pretty exacting, so I feel like he might just pick a lane and stick with it. But I also can see him faltering. I feel like if he's gonna falter, it's gonna be soon.
Yeah, and what a like a very this is such a good moment I think for Usopp to experience too. Like this is all of his lies catching up to him because like in this moment you would feel like Kuro would just kill him, but for Kuro to even be like you are indifferent to me right now. Like, you knowing this plan affects 0 to me, which is great. Like, that's so cool, and it's heartbreaking for Usopp, because now he can't even save. And just to talk about that moment you're talking about, where that moment he's like, well, I love this village. But you know what's funny? I was reading this chapter, and when he says, I love this village, the one flashback he has is of Kaya. Like, it's not the people of the village that he's missing, that he says, like, the flashback that Oda chooses to give us is Kaya. So, like, what he's saying really is, like, I love, like, this girl, like, this relationship I have with this girl means a lot to me. And he's gonna kill her, right? He's gonna kill her to do this thing. So, yeah, maybe he definitely loves the village too, but I think definitely a big motivation of him trying to save the village right now is Kaya, right? So that was like the moment I wanted to track.
No, Usopp's, he's interesting because it wasn't as clear as with some other characters in the past when they've, like, gone out and declared X is my treasure, right? Mm-hmm. And we just totally get it, right? It makes sense. Like, Usopp's was a little more vague. He also didn't use the word treasure, so, like, maybe what he was saying is, like, it's tough to say. Yeah, like, I like your interpretation that a part of that village is something that I hold very dear, which is my relationship with Kaya. Mm-hmm. He also could just have that general sense of, I enjoy going around the village and my banter with these people over the years and the way they've let me playfully tell my stories is something that I love, and I don't want any harm to befall the people that have allowed me to do that,
Yeah.
But, without knowing more, it's hard to say.
Yeah,
we definitely know that him and Kaya have something special, though.
Yeah, and this comes again to, like, obviously, starting to realize the pattern here is that when Oda has a specific theme for an arc, he tends to say it a lot in his chapters titles. And a lot, like, the few chapters that were into this arc already, a lot of them, like, I don't know, 50% of them have been about lies, right? And not, it's lies and lying as a theme, and his lies are catching up to him. Like, even the lies that he's told himself, like, it's getting there, and are they lies or are they truths? And to talk about
and actually I really like that with the combination of this Captain Kuro plan being revolving around his lie of being this butler for many years, but I'm also kind of predicting that maybe he wants to live the lie a little bit, so we'll see. Yes. That's another nuance on top of it.
Mm-hmm. And this is just I feel like I just kind of talked myself into really loving this theme and breakdown. But really, what I wanted to mention to you is that Usopp guessed this. He said this lie earlier in the arc. When Captain Kuro confronts them outside the window, he's like, "What are you doing here, Usopp?" But Usopp's like, "Well, I heard there was a mole that made it into this building, and I'm here to catch him out."
He used the word mole?
He used the word mole, dude.
Oh, snaps. Dang. That's pretty good.
So that's the thing with Usopp as a character, and that's just one little, like, snippet I'll give you about it, is that his lies, maybe for you to believe a lie, it has to have a little bit of the truth in it. Have you heard that before? Like, that's...
Yeah.
So, okay, so we dissect that thought and apply it to this, like, he...
When Usopp said the pirates were coming earlier, he was referring to the pirates now.
Yeah, and he referred to Luffy in them,
he's a predictor. He says too early.
Right, he just said a little too early.
We're about to see some gigantic goldfish or something that he's going to eat. It's coming.
Yeah, a goldfish with an island the shape of poop, right? Or a poop so big that it's an island. Yeah.
Tinfoil hat. We're gonna see that on the Grand Line.
Oh, okay. Wear your hat.
No. I feel like it could happen. I mean, this would just be. I think this one it could even be just like. I'll probably miss it because it's probably just gonna be like in the corner of a panel somewhere where they're traveling on the ship. Someone let me know. Read it. Send it in at grandlinetourist@gmail.com because I will definitely miss that probably.
Yeah, dude. So. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up a bit to bring it to your attention, but trying to dissect like the theme of lies in this one, but like. The lies you tell people, the lies you tell yourself. Like, you just mentioned, I didn't even think about Kuro, or Captain Kuro in that sense, too, where, like, yeah, he's telling himself a lie. That he is allowed to... Yeah, well,
you know what? Oh! Getting something, Eric. I'm getting something, Mr. Tour Guide. We have two people lying for far different reasons. One's doing it for a sense of, like, flippancy and piratey fun, and or, bringing levity into people's lives. And one's doing it to, like, destroy people's lives in order to gain material wealth,
Yeah.
And so that's an interesting, like, mirroring of
like a foil
their
of each
objective.
Other.
Yeah,
right?
their foil on their objectives, what they're trying to accomplish.
Right, and which we saw in the last arc that he did, too, when it came to the idea about treasure and stuff like that, too, with the Buggy versus, like, Luffy in that sense, or Buggy versus even Nami in that sense, right? Like, you're right, like, maybe that's the dissection, the theme of this thing. Because essentially, Captain Kuro you're lying to yourself if you think this is what you deserve. Like, you are saying that you deserve peace to enjoy the wealth that you've accumulated, and for you to get that peace, you're gonna kill. Or, you're gonna kill, you're gonna manipulate, you're gonna do whatever the heck you want to get what you want. Yeah, like what part of that do you think you deserve? It's a lie. Yeah. Whoa, this arc's good.
Eric convinced himself. Just this moment, Eric is like, you know what? I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this arc. Yeah. I'm not gonna just go into tour guide mode and I'm gonna. He's locked in.
There is something
we got him.
I want to say right now before I forget, because I don't think I'm gonna write it down. But just to reinforce the idea that Captain Kuro is lying to himself, there's a habit that he cannot kick, that's gonna stay with them, like that he's done since the beginning of this arc.
Oh, and this isn't a reference to the glasses thing, is it?
It is. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And you haven't seen it pay off yet, but like he can't.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, no. This is why I kept saying like he's a method actor. Right? I can't imagine him as a pirate having done that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't even know if he had glasses as a pirate. Like, this could all be some sort of front, right? And that's why I think he's in too deep. I don't know. I think we're gonna have some big moment with him. Or it could go either way. We could just have our standard evil fare and a foil for the way Usopp uses lies. But Klahadore is coming out in an interesting way. I really like it.
Yeah. That's everything I have.
And maybe with that, I think time for a little undulations in the diaphragm, bringing that back again. This is the whole episode of bringing things back. We got jokes for you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna lead us off with.
Cool. I only have one. So.
We don't. Oh, maybe it's the same one. Let's see. Is it? We need to accident this girl to death.
Oh my god, that's such a good one. I cannot believe I forgot.
I really like it. No, because just as a phrase, it's hilarious.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, Captain. We're gonna accident the girl to death.
I also think they kind of gave him like a raspy voice like this. I remember when I read that, where he was like, "Oh yeah, accident. It's going to be an accident, right?" Yeah, right. Like we're gonna accident this girl to death. Yeah, I think that's the kind of voice and like the vibe they kind of gave him. Django. That's the vibe they gave Django through this whole thing.
Yeah.
The other one I have was like. Usopp's freaking out. He's like, I can't believe this is really horrible. I'm hearing something horrible. And then Luffy's like, hey, what did they say? It sounded kind of mean, which I thought was like just a really funny joke. Like, it's super dramatic for Usopp, who's like clearly hearing the conversation. As far as we know, Luffy's eating the same information. Luffy is not. He did not get it.
Nope.
And then immediately when he hears the information, he's like a dog. He's like, I'm gonna react. I'm gonna fight.
No, and actually, the way Luffy reacted also was a pretty good joke as well. I mean, just he stands up, don't kill Kaya, to these people that obviously they've been like, to Usopp been spying on, right? And you don't like all of a sudden reveal yourself. And also, we heard everything, right? So, pretty solid.
Yeah, it's great. It's just it's just Luffy, dude. He's like, okay, someone put the MacGuffin to sleep, right? Like I said last chapter. Like if someone put him to sleep, he'll solve everything later. But for now, he needs to go away so the plot can still move forward in this arc.
Also the pirate flag of the new pirates.
Yeah,
kind of looks like wolves or cats. And I kind of like this idea of pirate flags having the Jolly Roger, the skeleton-like elements, but also being kind of cute. Like, so we had Buggy, which had the silly clown nose, and now we have this other one, which, I'm not looking directly at it, but I just remember it didn't look like fearsome to me. It looked more.
You were right. It didn't look like a wolf to me until they said wolf, because I was like, that looks like a cat, and I think it's the eyes.
Yeah, it looks like a cute cat. Like it's got cat eyes for sure. Yeah. Nope, silly. I thought it was like, wow, this is what the nefarious Captain Kuro pirates, have up on their ship.
A rule to designing a Jolly Roger is that it needs to represent your crew culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They hunt as a pack and they're ruthless. That's how it is, right? They plan their attack. They hunt as an attack. And they're loyal. That's why they came back 3 years later.
Yeah, no, it's also got to be simple enough for children and/or my mom to draw.
Yes. Oh man. So, do you have any other jokes? That's kind of everything I kind of have here.
I think it's time for a little bit of a panel battle, Eric. What do you think?
Applying all of the different. Did you ever watch Yu-Gi-Oh? Because you did a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff just right now.
This was I mean, that's the extent of all my Yu-Gi-Oh knowledge.
That's enough.
I that was another one that I think I told you very early on that like when I watched Pokemon, it felt like I was dipping in on something that I wasn't aware of enough to like be a part of, but I eventually kind of got sucked a little bit into Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh was one that like same story, but I didn't get sucked in, so like I watched from afar. I would see kids playing it at lunch and I'd peek and I would be like, I don't have any cards, and I'd go away. It was like a culture that looked so cool, but I wasn't a part of it, sadly.
Oh man, it seems cool until you're like out of money, because it's a drug. And TCGs are drugs. Take it from another TCG player to a Dex.
If Kaya got into Yu-Gi-Oh, there would be no fortune to steal for Kalahador.
Exactly, just a bunch of cards that the pirates would be way too into. I took the first swing last chapter, so I'll take a peek at your swing.
Oh, very good, very good.
All right.
And the panel is going to be the very bottom right.
Very bottom right. Oh, I almost chose this panel too. And essentially, we danced around it, but this is the panel battle section where we both choose a panel from the chapter to kind of pit against each other. We say it's a fight, but really it's a reason for us to nerd out about a specific panel. Feel free to nerd out with us. Join in this drug of One Piece and just tell us the stories. Choose your panels, throw it up there, and you can do that by sending us an email at grandlinetourist@gmail.com. Jacob checks it every day, and he'll let me know when there's something.
It's actually true. I do.
Oh.
That's not a lie. Well, because it just forwards to my regular email, and I check my regular email every day.
That's fair.
So I get them pretty quick. It'd be
do.
tough for me to miss it unless I I don't know, went on a separate vacation during this tour. I'd have to, I go hiking in the rapids of the Grand Line River that
there you go.
connects.
I'm sure there's many rivers in the Grand Line.
Maple Syrup Town. I don't know. You told me that earlier that this was the town we're in is called Syrup Town, right?
Syrup Village Arc is what
Syrup Village.
Yeah.
Okay. No, interesting. Because again, I was telling you, we don't really get any of that from the manga itself. But hardcore readers figure it out somehow, I guess, or maybe we get it later, and that's how it gets named.
Yes. But anyways, send in your panels. Send in your thoughts. Review us on Apple, I don't know, the Apple Store. I don't own Apple stuff. Not even the fruit. And then, just let us know. Send in your panels. Let us know. Talk to us. We miss you. We love y'all. I'm sure we love y'all. I mean, I don't know. We haven't talked yet. So let's figure that out.
Enough procrastinating. It's time for you to get sliced by the panel.
Yes. So this panel is, we see Django in is he a separate panel or is he a part of this panel, you think?
I'd say he's a part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead and describe it.
Yeah, so we see Django's face clear. It's a very extreme close-up of him. He takes up like maybe a bottom third, or like a bottom quarter-ish of the panel itself, and it says, those cutthroats are ready to cut each other's throats now. Is that what it says? Did I see that?
You got it.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It was a little towards the bend of the middle of the page.
Yeah, it's a little further away. But in the background, we see silhouettes of very daunting pirates. So that's what's going down here, man. What she sees, this is the part in the story where Django's explaining, like, hey, you've made us wait a week, and my boys, they're ready to cut people. They're ready.
Indeed. And this is our first image of them, I think, right? Of this pirate crew. And I particularly like how we have Django. And I know you're kind of saying, like, is he a part of the panel? Is he not? The reason I thought he was a part of it, we may have seen this technique before. You can almost imagine the line, because it's like the background of these pirates kind of blend in on top of Django's head. Mm-hmm. And I think the line that it makes is kind of the same line that his hat brim would make. So we kind of seen this technique before where he wants to show more of the background while not losing the character kind of identity or like what visually makes them striking. So I think that might be actually the hat brim, because it's not just a straight cut, right? It's not perfectly straight across the forehead as you might expect. It's got the slight bowing inward. So I thought that was cool.
Dude, this is a really cool panel. I do like it. I do. Is the villain? It's like a villain introduction panel, right? Like, oh, look how mean they look. It's just, I know it's a trope, but it's a trope because it works, bros. So I dig it. I love it. I guess it's my turn to show you what I like.
Oh yeah, no, send it right back.
Bam.
I got cutthroats on my side, and you have. Oh, this is a good choice. You know what? I think I should just throw in the towel, because you just threw down Luffy off of a cliff.
Yes.
And his feet are in the air. Kalahador, with an exclamation point above his head, is just looking at these gigantic Well, he's probably not looking at the onomatopoeia. There's a gigantic crash noise that occurs. Clawhador is looking at Luffy, and the hat in his hand. Basically, you can't see Luffy's head because it's in the ground.
Yes.
And I don't know if you caught the very strange reference I made. Have you seen Midsommar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you catch it? Basically, in that there's a scene in that movie where people jump off cliffs, and it reminded me of this.
The older folks, right? Like
the older folks. Yeah, no. Mild spoilers for Midsommar. It doesn't end as well for them as it does for Luffy. They don't just wind up sleeping. But this is awesome. The crash and all the dust that gets swept up. And I think mainly for me, it's just the humor of having these two legs of our very iconic character just sticking up with flip flops on.
Also,
I mean, come on.
They
didn't fall off his feet.
Why did they spell crash with a K?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's cooler, isn't it?
It is cooler. Do you think that's it? That's probably the only reason why. Cooler with a K.
Crash. I don't know. You know what? I think this would have been a choice by the person who does the lettering for the translation, and maybe it just looked better than the C on that side. Or maybe you can kind of see that exclamation point for Clawhador. Maybe the C, the bend of that arc, wouldn't have looked as good. It maybe would have gone into the bubble or something. That would be my guess.
But yeah, I just like how Clawhador's not even doesn't flinch at this. It's like he's
very calm and composed.
Yeah, I mean, not the first time I see someone fall off a cliff head first. Whatever.
Yeah, this is where it's kind of funny. Luffy exists in this world as a character that's quite strange.
Yeah.
But it feels like he should be stranger to other people. Like, for instance, Clawhador should be slightly more shocked at what's happening to Luffy. I guess he's a former pirate. Maybe he has encountered some devil fruit in his days, but then he would be suspecting Luffy. So I know he doesn't know, and so that's why I'm feeling like, don't we? One Piece world can be brutal when it comes to checking to make sure people are okay.
Yeah, a lot of it's just a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, no, it's fine. To be honest, if you saw it happen to somebody and you assumed the worst, I wouldn't want to check on them either.
That's true.
We know they're gone. I mean, it would be kind of gross.
That's true. All right. Well, we're this is it. We're done with this chapter at least.
Oh, and we're done with. I mean, it is a volume ending point. But not actually an arc ending point, which is kind of strange.
Nope.
It'll feel big for me because I can go pick another book up off the shelf, but it won't feel like, I guess, if you're reading them weekly, it wouldn't probably feel as big because you're just another week, right?
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like, why you don't want an arc to end at the end of a volume because then people can not read the next one. But
yeah, they could say, "Oh, this is my time to take a break from One Piece."
Yep.
No. You haven't even finished the arc yet. You got to at least start the next. Oh, then before you know it,
the next one. So I was trying to improvise a noise we can make to end the chapter, to end this podcast.
I'm going for it.
Yeah, hit me.
The pirates, they've been waiting on a ship for 3 years. They probably did lots of plundering, right?
Yeah.
But they also had to do an ad campaign for their captain, right? To tell everybody falsely that, he'd been murdered. So I think we should do a little bit of that campaign ourselves, right? We're pulling into throwing down the anchor, and we're, some of the sea wolves, and we need to tell everybody about what happened to poor Captain, we know our captain's name, Captain Kuro.
Yeah. Captain Kuro. He's gone.
He's gone. You know what happened to him?
He's gone. Just like the wind, the sea breeze.
It was sad. The Navy, they got a hold of him. They got a hold of that wind.
They did it. They killed him. And you know what? Like, I don't want any of y'all to feel victimized that we're currently raiding your village. Telling you a sad story. We want to express our sadness despite the fact that we're raiding your village.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But make sure to run and shout the story of poor Captain Kuro.
Right. We're gonna leave like 25% of you alive, so you can tell this story to everybody.
Tell the tale. Tell the tale of the wind the Navy killed.
That he's dead. But also, give us your stuff. Like put your stuff in a bag. And
how many more years of this do we got to do?
Oh man, I'm tired already, man. It's like we only started, like, Captain Kuro's only been gone a month.
Oh no.